Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this video. For the next month, our team calls are going to be pre-recorded. My husband's gone for work training, and I realized that having team calls during bedtime with the 6-month-old was going to be a little hectic. So the amazing thing about this business is we have the opportunity to be flexible, and so I'm just going to be pre-recording them on Mondays, and please, please, please listen to them right away, Monday, Tuesday. I'm not making these so nobody can watch them. It's training information. It's not going to be chatting, obviously, but it's really good information that everybody should listen to. So today I wanted to talk about fear. And you always hear like people have a fear of spiders, or you have a fear of death or heights and stuff like that. And those are kind of your standard fears that it's okay to talk about, and it's kind of normal and expected. What people don't understand, that there's also a fear that people don't want to talk about, and that's like a fear of success or fear with this business. And people look at this business and maybe you think, well, I don't have any fears. Like, I'm just trying to run my business, I'm going to be successful, and I don't really have any fears about it. Well, that's false, because there are so many fears associated with this business, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody at some point your fears with this business are going to evolve. It's always going to be changing. You're never going to have this, the goal, obviously, though, is to work through those fears. So hopefully, will not have the same fear throughout your whole business, and you are able to work through them and overcome them. So some of the common fears that people have in this business, fear of attention. Some people don't want the spotlight on them. So things like rank advancement or posting on their page and that sort of attention. They don't like that. Fear of success. Now, some people think like, what's there to be? Why would you be scared of being successful? A lot of people have a fear of success. I think that's normal. I think at some point in your life to have a fear of being successful. It kind of ties in all these other fears at the same time, but people have seen maybe parents or family members or friends where they become successful and maybe focus on the success and things around them fall out of place. Maybe their relationships dwindle because they're so focused on the success. So we think it's a safe place to not be successful. And we say things like, well, I don't care if I'm dirt poor as long as I have my relationships around us. Well, that's a fear. By saying that, you're fearful because you think you can't have both. You think you can't have a successful business and amazing relationships at the same time. People have a fear of not being good enough. This is a really common one. People, I think, shield themselves, put up a wall, because they're afraid of not being good enough. So they tell themselves lies. They say things like maybe this business isn't cut out for them, or that they could never be good at this because of their personality, or that they don't have enough friends that would be interested, stuff like that. That's a fear of not being good enough, and you're giving yourself an excuse. Fear of people relying on you, like having a team. This is one, I see this a lot. I went through this point in my business right before I hit Diamond, and I see it with people on the team right before they hit Diamond. They get so close to Diamond, and then there's like this huge fear of, I have a team under me now, and I have business builders under me now that are relying on me, and for some people that scares the crap out of them. So people think if it's just me and my solo business, it's okay, because at any point I could quit this business and it would be okay because it would just be me. But when you have a team under you, they're relying on you and you're a leader to them, and that scares people so bad. Also, fear of failure. That's a huge one. It kind of relates to everything I just talked about, but nobody wants to hit a goal and fail. But you don't have to be scared of that. People fail all the time. I fail at my goals all the time. If you guys saw my goal list every month, I'm failing them all the time, but I'm still setting them because I know I'm so close to them. So fears in this business, there's so many fears, and everybody has a different fear. I can't sit here and say that everybody has the same fear or that there's one way to get through these fears, but just know you have a fear. And I'm telling you this right now. Everybody in this business is scared of something. You have, and at all, this is ever changing. Whatever you're going through in this business, this is always changing. So we have to figure out, these fears are holding you back in your business. And the time where maybe you're stuck in your business and you feel like you're working. In order to make that jump to the next level, whatever that is, maybe it's a rank advancement, or maybe it's just working through a fear of talking to people, or working through a fear of growing your team. To make that jump and to get over that hump, that's overcoming a fear that you have and working through that and kind of putting past the next one. Now, then there might be a different fear, and then you might have to overcome that one again. But no matter what, you're always moving forward. And now, if you don't work through those fears, or you're not recognizing them, you're going to be stuck at your business the whole time. And you can be taking step backs too, because you're realizing these things are overwhelming you and drowning you. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips to maybe recognize these fears, overcome them. So number one, recognize that you have a fear. So if you're sitting on this call and you're thinking like, I don't know what she's talking about, I don't have any fears in this business and I'm doing amazing and there's nothing I'm scared of, then stick on number one for a while. Because there's something that's holding everybody back in this business. So recognize you have a fear. Now, this can take a lot of self-evaluation. Sometimes it's hard to take a hard internal look at ourselves and realize what's going wrong. So maybe you have to get out a notebook and just start writing out what's going on. Maybe call your upline and talk to them. I can see a lot of fears in my coaches that I'm not going to go to them and tell them I can tell what's holding them back. But if they came to me and they were wondering what's holding them back, or maybe they wanted to talk and work through it, I could definitely help them overcome that because I see it from a different perspective. So number two, commit to figuring out what this fear is and overcoming it. If you want to move your business forward, this is a constant process. So you might overcome one fear and then you find yourself stuck on something else. And so keep overcoming them. You have to be committed and get rid of the stigma associated with fears and thinking that you don't have one. So commit to figuring out your fear and working through it, whether it's writing down a ton, just like a journal, and figuring out what's scaring you in this business, what's holding you back. Reading personal development. One thing too that I notice, if I'm just a little tip, side note, but if I'm struggling with something and I can't figure out what it is, I usually go to Amazon and I start looking at the personal development books and I'm reading the captions. And if there's something that like sticks out to me, I realize like maybe that's what I needed to hear. You know, maybe that's the book I want. And if I'm reading through titles and it's like time management or being organized or emotional eating, and then maybe I go to one that's on like self-confidence or something, and I'm like, oh, that book looks really interesting. Bam. That's something that I need to read because I'm realizing I really need that information. So you need to commit to working through it and doing that. Number three, be okay that you have a fear that you have to work towards. Nobody here in this business is perfect. Everybody has fears. I think of Brigida's millionaire club, and she said she woke up and she had this huge fear and overwhelming of inadequacy. And this is one of the top coaches in the company, and she has a fear. So never think you're too good enough to have some fear that you need to work towards. Be okay that you have a fear. Be okay with working towards it. Commit to working through whatever this fear is that you have. Now, these fears might stem from a previous business that you did and maybe something happened and you failed or whatever. Maybe these fears come from holding up high standards and high goals for yourself and you failed and you felt like you let people down. There's all different reasons that you might have these fears. Number four, come up with a plan for overcoming these fears. Talk with your upline. Figure out what it is and what sorts of tasks you can do. Maybe you have a fear of inviting and reaching out to people. Talk with your upline and get their ideas, get their mentorship, Maybe they have a different idea for you on ways that you can reach out to people that might not be so scary. Or maybe they have an idea of you to do like kind of like a coming out post with your Beachbody business again. Even if you've been a coach for a year, maybe recommitting and recoming out, and you will see everybody's support and encouragement on your posts, and that's going to give you a big confidence boost. So definitely reaching out to your upline and getting their take on this. Personal development, again, like I said, you have to be focusing on personal development when you're working through these things, because nobody wants to realize they have these fears and then let the fears set them back even more. We're doing this and we're working through these fears with our business to overcome them and work through and advance our business and grow as a person as well. Grow as a person as well, because these things aren't just helping your business, they're going to help your relationships, they're going to help everything around you. And really, that's what we're here for, is to just be a better person. So I want you guys to know it's okay to have these faults, and it's okay to have things that you're working through, or things that you recognize that are things that are setting you back in this business. But the difference between a successful coach and a not successful coach is the successful coaches are the ones that are constantly working through them, and they're changing things up, and they're doing different things to advance them personally, to make them grow as a person. So these fears and setbacks, it's not something that defines you. It's just something that you have to work towards in order. They're internal thoughts and internal things that are setting you back or holding you back in this business. And if you're committed to growing your business and working through these things, I really encourage you to take a look at what it is that's holding you back. And I would say every single person on this team has something in their life and in their business that is a fear to them and that's holding them back. And if we work through these fears, and maybe you're a brand new coach, okay, and you're watching this video and you're like, I don't have any fears. I just started and I don't know what you're talking about. I promise you there's things, and maybe these fears are just things that you're telling yourself. So maybe you're telling yourself like, oh, it's just a hobby. I'm not really going to do this. That's a fear that you're having, because to me, that's a fear that you are worried that you're not going to be successful. So you're going to tell yourself it's just a hobby, because you don't want to go all out and 100% and then end up failing. So you're protecting yourself. So you guys, be vulnerable. It's okay. It's okay to share your fears and your failures. It's okay to work through those. It's okay to recognize that you have faults that you need to work through in order to help your business grow. You don't need to shield yourself from them. You don't need to pretend like everything's peachy, watermelons, rainbows, unicorns. I don't know why I said watermelons. Unicorns and rainbows and glitter. Because we all have our own demons, right? We all have our own things that we're working towards, but you guys have to work through those, and you have to realize, like, if you're going to go all out and you're going to be in this business, whatever it is that's holding you back, you have to work through. So I encourage you guys to do that. Look at that. Reach out to your upline coach if there's something you are struggling with. Reach out to me. We're here for you. You guys, we're in the last couple of months of the year. And this is the time, if there's any time that you guys are going to push in your business, it's right now. You want to end the year strong, because ending the year strong, you guys, it's holiday season. And everybody always says holiday season is the hardest of the business. For me, I've always gone like 150% during the holiday season. And the holiday season has always been amazing business growth for me, and so has January, February, and March. So keep that momentum up now, and it'll pay off, because you can give yourself the excuse that it's holiday season and you're gonna like wait to give 110% till after the holiday season when everybody else is ready and all those people have New Year's resolutions. But the truth is, again, that's just something you're telling yourself, because we all have the opportunity to have a successful end of the year, and we just have to tell ourselves that. So end the year strong, you guys. Hit Success Club every single month. I promise you it's going to pay off. Hit your rank advancement goals end the year strong. So when you're starting January, you have a fire in you. Because if you're not, and you're coming to January and you're having to like reboot yourself, you're going to regret that. I promise you. Because then it's going to take you a couple months to get in the swing of things. So let me know if there's anything I can do to help you guys. You guys work through those fears. It's okay to have fears. We all have fears. But you need to work through them. I promise you it'll pay off. Be vulnerable. Share your story. Share what's frightful to you. Share what's freaking you out. Share it with your success partners, your upline. I promise you, everybody has similar fears with this business. But you have to have confidence in yourself, and you have to have confidence in this business, because it truly is a business that changes lives. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night. Bye.